And a lot of people are gonna probably be like, what? When I say this one, because y'all gonna be like, why would she tell me to do that? But pay close attention.
I don't love just anyone. I am not just anyone. I rock heels, I rock Jordans, and I wear wigs and rock my natural. Can you believe he says I'm pretty for a dark skin? He was dark skin. I bought some Hennessy for these niggas. Wonder if they love their mother. I love their skin colors.
Hey Smoochies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Semyia. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel right now if you haven't, and give this video a thumbs up while you're here. If you read the title, you already know why you're here. If you are interested in joining a sorority, some of these rules can apply to fraternities as well, but this will be specifically about sororities and specifically about the Divine Nine. So if you are interested in joining a sorority, this is a video that you should probably watch. You made it to the point where you did all your research, you narrowed it down, and then you decided what you want to be. You decided what you want to pledge. So at this point, you are now getting ready to go to the interest meeting or informational. They're both the same thing, but they kind of vary depending on like what people call them on the flyers. But an interest meeting and informational are the same thing. What they are is basically a chance for you to go to get information about the organization, to meet the members of the chapter on your campus in person, to ask any questions that you may have, and to introduce yourself, as well as to find out the requirement to join that particular sorority. And then you can then make the decision the final decision, if that is something that you absolutely want to do, and based off the requirements given to you, then you can apply. So the informational / interest meeting is one of the final steps to making the decision of joining said sorority. So we're going to get started, and today I'm going to split this up into 3 major categories: what to wear, what to bring, and what to do. So we're going to start off with what to wear. Now this can vary depending on what organization you're joining, which campus you go to, etc. But some general what to wears are: wear neutral colors. One, you don't want to show up in the sorority's colors because that's what they will wear, and you kind of want to stand out and be different. You don't want to try to match them because you're not a part of that group. So wear neutral colors, earth tones, blacks, whites, tans, grays, that sort of thing. And you want to wear business attire. So you want to dress like you would dress for a interview, not at McDonald's, but like, because if you go to an interview at like McDonald's, you would dress like kind of more like business casual. So you want to dress like you're going to an interview for like corporate America, or you're going to go see a judge or something like that. That's how you want to dress. You want to have neat and tidy hair. So you want to make sure that your hair is not in your face, it's not unkept. You want to make sure that it's just, very neat and tidy and professional looking. You also want to make sure that you don't have on any excessive makeup. This look I have today ain't too much. This bright pink lipstick is definitely not what you would want to do. Maybe a nice lip gloss or a nude colored lip, or something just a little bit lighter toned, but you don't want to do anything too excessive. You're not going to the club. This is not a party. You're not going to some day-to-day thing. This is like an interview before the interview, basically. So you want to make a good impression for your first impression. So no big jewelry. These earrings would not work. This choker would not work. You can wear a studded necklace, something small, but you don't want anything big or bulky. You also don't want huge dangling earrings. Studs would work, or you can go with no jewelry. Pearls are even better. But yeah, so no huge jewelry, no big hoop earrings, anything like that. If you're going to wear a dress or a skirt, always wear tights or stockings underneath them. You want to dress how your grandmother would basically say, like, you going to church and you need a slip under that skirt, you need some tights. Your grandma's not going to let you wear your skirt without no tights. So that's how you want to go to the informational. If you wear a dress or a skirt, definitely wear tights. And then always check the flyer for special instructions. Depending on the organization, they might expect you to wear heels instead of flats. You know, depending on the organization, they might want you to all wear black or gray or something like that. I don't know. Or a jacket, like a blazer. So, you know, it just depends on the organization. So, therefore, always make sure that you read the flyer once, twice, 3 times over. Double check it before you leave the house, and just be prepared. So now we're going to move on to what to bring. So as far as what to bring, it's a pretty short list. You don't want to bring too much because you want to just bring yourself and be able to have your hands free to participate and enjoy your time. But you also want to be professional. So you want to bring things that will put you in a professional light, that will make you shine above others, as well as just showcase what you have to offer. So some of the things that you can bring. Well, first, before you bring anything, always check the flyer for special instructions, which I just said about the dressing. You want to check the flyer for special instructions about what to bring as well, because some of them may say bring an official transcript. At that point, you have to order those. If you go to my school, I'm sure it's like that at other schools too. You have to go and order an official transcript. You can't just print those off, and a lot of times they take between 5 and 7 business days. So you have to order them ahead of time and pay for them. So therefore, you want to make sure that you read the flyer. If it wants you to bring an official transcript, be prepared. And official transcripts also mean to not open the envelope. They have to be completely sealed. So, and they have to come from the university. So therefore, you want to read the flyer to make sure that you can bring either an official or unofficial. An unofficial transcript is something that you can print off yourself from your school's, your personal school ID website thing or whatever. And that does not have to be sealed in an envelope, and it's unofficial. So you can print that off the day of if you want to. So you just want to know what they're expecting from you. But an unofficial transcript most of the time will do. And you also want to bring your resume. So with your resume, you should have 2 different types of resume. You should have like a work resume, and you should have like a academic resume, which I mean I do. So basically, it's because you're doing 2 different things. Your academic resume is the one that you should use for your sorority interest. So that should include any of your extracurricular activities, your grades, any accolades, scholarships, honors, volunteer work that you do, anything like that. That should be included in your resume. You can include work experience if the work experience was a leadership role. That would make more sense than to just be like, yeah, I worked at the movie theater. If you were a manager at the movie theater, then you should include that and say, I was a manager at the movie theater, because, you know, that showcases your leadership skills. So definitely bring your resume if you have one. If you don't, make sure you have one. Be prepared. And the next thing is, this is pretty important. You want to bring either a note card, like a single note card, or a small notepad and pen. You want to be prepared to take notes, because they're going to be saying a lot of things, and they're not going to have pamphlets for you to take home with the notes of everything they say. So they're going to be talking about, possibly they'll talk about dues, they'll talk about the requirements and things like that, and you're going to want to write that stuff down, because if you try to do it by memory, then you might mess yourself up and ruin your chances, because you're going to forget something. It's a lot of information to take in, so make sure that you write that information down on a small note card or notepad, and take that information with you so that way you have it. The last category that we're going to do is what to do. And this is the biggest category, because this is the one that most people don't really know what to expect when they go to an informational. Do not be nervous, for one. An informational is literally not the interview. There's always interviews after the informational if you get to that part. So therefore, It's more so like an introduction. It's to get the information, and anybody who goes to the informational can apply even if you don't qualify. I don't recommend that. I recommend only apply if you qualify. But anybody who goes to the informational can apply to the sorority. So therefore it is not the end all be all. So don't be nervous. The first thing is be yourself. That's really important. Yes, you want to put your best foot forward. Yes, you want to be the best you can be and be the best first impression that you can be, but still be yourself. Don't be anybody but who you are. You want to show your true characteristics so that they can determine if they want you to be a part of that. You want the honest truth. The next thing is smile and be open. You don't have to be super giddy, but be friendly. Don't sit in the corner and look, intimidating, or like, you're afraid to smile because you don't want to look like you're too interested. Of course you're too interested. You at the interest meeting. That's the point. So smile, be happy. Be happy, look like you are in the process of making one of the best decisions of your life. Be happy. The next one is participate and have fun. Usually at these informationals, they will have like a icebreaker or something, just because a lot of the girls are definitely nervous when they come. From someone who's been on both sides of the field, I know what it's like. And a lot of times people come in and they're really nervous, especially if they don't really know anyone. They just are shy. So you don't want to be that person. Participate. Kind of make yourself get out of your shell in the beginning. The icebreaker usually happens in the beginning. So try to get out your shell in the beginning. If you come in shy, that's okay. Participate in the icebreaker. Make a new friend next to you that's your neighbor or something. Heck, you never know. They might get picked along with you and then it becomes your sister. Just, participate. The next one is do your due diligence, do your research. You want to make sure that you research the organization before you go. Do not go to an interest meeting expecting to find out everything that you want to know. The interest meeting is not for that. That's what your personal research is for. You can ask questions, but don't sit there and ask questions that you can find on Google. Don't ask questions that, you should already know the answer to. So that just makes you look bad. It makes you look like you didn't do your research. It makes it look like you don't know the decision that you're trying to make. Like you don't really care all too much. And it's just really annoying because it's kind of like, you could have like looked that up yourself. So therefore do your research, ahead of time. And the next one is prepare questions for a Q&A ahead of time. At the end of every informational, there's always a Q&A. It is an opportunity for you to ask the chapter members of the organization that you're trying to join questions. And I recommend that you ask more questions about the chapter rather than the sorority as a whole. You can ask questions about the sorority, but like I said, a lot of that stuff can be found online. So if you ask a question about the sorority, make sure it is not something you found online. A good question to ask is like, you want to ask them about some of their initiatives. Like online you can find some of their initiatives, but you want to ask about some other ones, like or you can even ask like specifics about an initiative. Like if they are really big in March of Dimes, you want to ask them how long have you guys took a stand with March of Dimes, and how has that impacted your life personally? Ask them stuff like that. Or you want to ask them personal questions like, what made you join this sorority? What was something that stood out to you that made you want to join? What changed your life after you did? You want to ask personal questions. You can ask the chapter itself. As a chapter, how do you guys bond together as sisters? As a chapter, what are some community service projects that you guys take on that not necessarily the organization takes on? Questions like that. You want to ask questions that are out of the box and prepare ahead of time. You don't want to get in there and try to think of something off your dome, because a lot of times you will think of something really basic and it's just a waste of a question. You want to think of something that really is thought-provoking, makes them really excited to answer that question for you, and gives you an eye into the chapter members as well, because that's the chapter you're trying to join. And the reason why you should prepare questions is because it makes you stand out. It gives you a slight edge above other people. When you ask a question, if it's a room full of 150 girls 20 girls, don't matter. If it's a room full of girls and only 5 people ask a question, those 5 people, their faces are remembered because they stood up and they asked the question, and it's like, wow, you know, they came prepared, or wow, they're really interested. They really want to know more. They want to learn. So definitely prepare questions. That's really, really important. The next one is introduce yourself completely. During the Q&A portion especially, or also the icebreakers, if they ask everybody to stand up and introduce themselves, don't do no whack introduction and be like, hey, my name's Semyia, what's up? And then that's it. No. Oh, and don't be like, oh, hey, I'm Semyia. You know, you wanna stand up. I'm not about to stand up because then I'll be out of camera, but you want to stand up and you want to say, hi, my name is Semyia Hodges, you know, first and last name, and you want to say, you know, I'm from Oakland, California. I am a, whatever year you are, I'm a senior majoring in, let's say, architect. You know what I'm saying? So let me use somebody else's information. So, hi, my name is Ashley Johnson. I am from Tennessee. I am a junior architect major, and my question is, whatever your question is. That's how you do it. You want to have confidence. You want to project your voice. You want to introduce yourself fully, and then ask your question. Because if you ask your question, then it's like, okay, this one girl asked a question, but I don't know what her name was. Where's she from? What's her name? She go here? What's her major? You know. You want to fully introduce yourself. Let them know who you are. The next one is be confident but not arrogant. Yes, smile, be confident. If you are one of those people who are absolutely not shy and you just like, I know everybody in the room, I'm good, that's fine. You know everybody all you want to, but that does not mean you're a shoo-in. So do not carry yourself like you think that you got this in the bag just because you know everybody. And you know, you can carry yourself with confidence and be like, I'm excited to be here. I know my worth. But don't carry yourself with this arrogance like, I know they're about to pick me. I'm in. Like, I don't need to ask no questions. I don't need to participate. If they know it's good for them, I'm in. You know, don't do that. And then the last one, and this one is really important, and a lot of people are gonna probably be like, what? When I say this one, because y'all gonna be like, why would she tell me to do that? But pay close attention because there's a method to my madness, okay? Do not sit next to your friend. If your friend is interested in the organization with you, that's fine, but do not sit next to them. Sit somewhere else. Sit next to a stranger, someone you don't know. Why? I will give you the reasons. 1, you don't want to look like the only reason you're trying to join is because, hey, I know somebody else who's trying to join. We could do it together because we're besties. You want to look like you made that decision on your own accord with nobody else's influence, and that you're doing it for the right reasons and not just because your homegirl is doing it. You also don't want to sit next to your friend because even though that's your friend and you love her to death, maybe she does some things that are questionable. Maybe her credentials are not, what they need to be. Maybe she is not going to be chosen, and then you have linked yourself to her like a lock and a key, and now you are looped together in the same category because you act like you are hung at the hip and y'all can't get away from each other. So now you didn't ruin your chances because her chances are off, so you're next to her and y'all can't get we can't separate y'all, so we can't take one without the other. Y'all a package deal, so the package is telling me I need to return the sender. The whole package about to go back. So sit by yourself, hang by yourself, because yourself is the only person who has to go through the interviews. Yourself is the only person who has to pay them dues. Yourself is the only person who gotta join that organization and be part of that sisterhood. Now, if you and your friend both get chosen, great. But y'all don't gotta sit next to each other to do it. If y'all get chosen, that's awesome. Y'all could be sisters forever. Y'all could sit next to each other in the chapter meetings. How about that? So that is it for this video, you guys. I hope that it was really informative and that you guys enjoyed watching with me. Yay. If you guys want more videos like this, please leave a comment below and let me know what questions that you guys have about sorority life. Do not tell me what you want to pledge. I'm gonna just let y'all know that now because I'm trying to save you. Don't do it. So, but let me know what questions you have about general sorority or Greek life, you guys. If you're planning on pledging a fraternity, some of these things can be applied to fraternity, but like I said, this was specifically for my sorority wannabe girls out there. So and also, if you are in a sorority and you have any other advice to add, please drop that in the comment section below. My smoochies would love to know. And give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Don't forget to follow all my social media down in the description box below, and check the description box because I always leave some good links, you know, especially when I do these Greek videos. I always link, check the link, y'all. I link the websites to these organizations down below so that you guys can check them out and do your due diligence and your research like I've just so eloquently asked you guys to do. And I will see you guys next time. So bye. Smooches.
I got a condo in Manhattan. Baby girl, what's happening? You and your ass invited, so gonna get to clapping. Go pop it for a plan, pop it for me. Turn around and drop it for a plan. Drop it for me. I'll rent a beach house.